Hey, good morning. This is Cynthia, and this is Morning Devotions with Believer's House. And I want to share with you this morning, day 6 of our study from Priscilla Shirer, Awaken. And this morning, our devotion is entitled Looking and Seeing. And the scripture is taken out of Luke chapter 7. And I want to talk about that in just a few minutes, but I wanted to share a little bit about the concept of looking and seeing. And the difference between looking and seeing, because we can look scarily, that's a word, scarily. We can be driving down the road and we can be looking where we're going, but sometimes we're not seeing where we're going. And let me explain kind of along the same way of we can hear someone, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're listening to them. And so in this particular scripture, we see Jesus had been invited to go to a Pharisee's house. Now, this gets a bit confusing because he's talking to Simon, and it appears that this gentleman's name, this Pharisee's name, was Simon. And this woman comes in to into dinner, and she brings an alabaster jar and she pours it on Jesus's feet, and she's weeping and she's wiping his feet and pouring out this very costly perfume or ointment that it's just very, very expensive. And the Pharisee and other people begin to criticize, because this woman is not the kind of woman that Jesus supposedly, or the Jewish brothers, or really any of Christian or believing God, believing people should be hanging with in religious standards. She didn't apparently have great morals, and could have been she was a prostitute. It could have been that she was a very loose woman. We don't know the reasons why that she was considered someone that was not appropriate. There are several speculations, but we see in this scripture Jesus turned to Simon and he said, Luke 7 verse 44, turning towards the woman, he said to Simon, "Do you see this woman?" And he goes on to say, "I came into your house and you didn't give me water for my feet, but she wet my feet with her tears and she wiped them with her hair." And one of the important things I wanted to mention about this particular scripture is that we see that coming into someone's house in biblical days, that was common courtesy to give someone to wipe their feet. That was very important because they just walked around with all these sandals and their feet were very